Hi guys. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a... I'm dropping frames and I don't know why. That's not normal. I don't normally drop any frames at all. Get stopped now. Hi Brenda. Hi Jane. How are we doing, guys? I'm gonna stop jiggling the table. Hey Rish. Hi Pam. See if I can tighten this up a bit, stop it jiggling around. Oh. How's everyone doing? How's everybody's week? Mine's doing good. My car, the beast, the Maddie-mobile, passed its MOT. It passed its MOT. Pause for dramatic effect. Well, that's not true. It didn't pass its MOT. It needed a headlight bulb and something else. But that's basically a pass. If it takes less than 10 minutes to fix it, it's a pass. Less than 10 minutes, less than 20 quid, it's a pass. So it just needed a couple of bulbs, and I think the rear wiper needed changing or something, and a couple of other bits. But yay! The car passed its MOT! Granted, I haven't used it for like 6 months, but at least it's not going to cost me a fortune this year. It does need some brake work and it needs some tyres doing, but none of them are urgent, so that's good. Yeah, if you've got really bad lag, go back and start again, because my one isn't showing lag between what I'm saying and what I'm... Like, if you're getting lag between what I'm saying and what's showing on screen, then go out and start again, because you shouldn't be getting lag that way. But there is a lag between what I'm saying and what you're actually seeing, as always. But it's not as bad as it usually is. I've got a hair tickling my nose. I can't find it. There it is. Ooh, lots of people in today. Michelle, Fiona, Amber, Lisa, Maria, hello. So I'm going to have a nice chill afternoon because I've been running around all over the place this week. I've had to do out with people stuff. Socially distance out with people stuff, but out with people stuff nonetheless. Where's my painting? I'm just going to sit and colour a bit more of this, I think. I fancy doing a bit more of this one. What did I paint this with? Gouache? Acrylic? Oh, I was going to do the background and I didn't. Oh, okay. Well, I can start there, can't I? Ooh, people. Yeah. What's that meme? Only have 2 complaints about the outside. Ooh, the weather, and ooh, the people. That's me. I've piled stuff on top of my paints again. I've got to stop doing that. It's a really bad habit I have of piling things. I think I fancy that one. Okay, so this is a acrylic. Yeah, I did this in gouache. I did. Because I remember saying when I cover this green bit up with that colour, I'm going to have to watch for it mixing in or isolate the layer. See, I remember that stuff. It's all coming back to me. Okay, where's my paintbrushes? There we go. Hello, Miss Maddie. That's the one I'll use, I think. I'm just going to paint today. Halloween Chronicles class is going well. Oh, I don't have a clean cloth. I'll have to use a napkin. We treated ourselves to a cheeky McDonald's on the way back from the garage because we didn't have to spend money on the car. It was the jelly gouache, thank you. I thought it might have been, but I need to isolate the layer. So I need to find my gel medium. So, gouache can be reactivated, obviously, you know this. I hope the music's okay today. Somebody commented, and I am very aware of audio distractions. I have similar issues, so if you ever have audio distractions, just let me know. Somebody said they couldn't hear me very well because the music, the high notes, were overtaking what I was saying. So I've put the speaker much further away from the mic today. So hopefully that will be better. I can't remember who it was who told me, but somebody did say they were having trouble with the audio because of the music. So that's much further away. Music is by Shesko, used with permission, and you can find her here on YouTube, as well as on Instagram, Twitch. I think she's basically everywhere. She's got an album out, which is this one. Lovely music. You do have a little bit of an issue with some of the higher notes. You need to equalise it to set it to the right thing for your ears, the right pitch for your ears. But yes, it's nice to paint too. That's why I play it during streams. Halloween Chronicles. Yes, Halloween Chronicles is going swimmingly because we finally settled on something that I actually want to do. We are doing, for those who missed the announcement last week, was it last week, the week before, can't remember. See how this is lifting, the colour's lifting. But it's mixing with the gel medium. So once that's dry, it will basically become acrylic paint, because it's just clear acrylic with colour in it. So this is basically an isolation layer. It'll stop that green acrylic from mixing with the pink once I put the pink over the top. Yes, Halloween Chronicles this year in October, as usual, of course, leading up to our Halloween party, which is the best night of the year, obviously. 73 days to Halloween, in case you were wondering. Not that I know off the top of my head or anything. We are doing I haven't actually decided on the name yet. Maybe you can give me some thoughts. It's poetry. Okay, we're doing the poems of Edgar Allan Poe. Finding inspiration thereof, because Poe's intensely creepy and macabre. So, that doesn't say Halloween, I don't know what does. See you later, Brenda. Thanks for dropping by. I lost my train of thought, sorry. Yeah, primarily the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe with audio readings and everything else that I always do for my Chronicles classes. There will also be an option to use a short story if that's what you prefer. And I did call it poetry. Poetry. Somebody else suggested Poe with Row. And I also, I don't know. No, I think I'm sticking with poetry. I've just decided. Poetry. I'm going to name the individual sessions with the other ideas I had. Yeah, because I thought it would be fun to do like a really eclectic class, like a bit of everything, where you can take inspiration from the poetry and do whatever you want. Do as many bits as you want, do as many pages or pieces or whatever. You know, just pull out a sketchbook and just take inspiration while you're listening. That sort of thing. It's based on the stuff I do when I'm listening to audiobooks or watching TV, when I just sketch what I hear. I've done it several times before. There's a few on my Instagram, actually. That kind of building up of ideas. Did I do that bit? God, I got no brain today. If I only had a brain. I did that bit, I remember. Okay, so I'll just let that dry a minute. You have a big sketchbook, your version, arriving today. Yes! Awesome. We'll have to have a get together for a big sketchbook session, Lise. You're in an embroidery mood, currently pulling all your floss colours into an app so you can stop buying doubles. Oh God, yeah. I need to do that with pens and paints. Anyway. No, I thought it would be fun to do like a portrait as part of the class. So actually draw Edgar Allan Poe. He has the most amazing face. I love it. So I thought we could do a portrait. We're going to look at some poetry. And I thought for those who don't like poetry, because some people just don't like poetry, you could choose a short story to do instead and do a couple of scenes from the short story instead. But then I thought, I kind of want to do that myself as well, so maybe we'll do both. I don't know. Oh, it's going to be one of those classes that gets out of hand very quickly because I adore Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe is the reason I'm a goth. Edgar Allan Poe and Neil Gaiman. And that's why I've been a goth since 1984. You finally completed your 224-page journal after 2 months. Woohoo! Awesome! You're breaking in a new journal at the moment. Yes, go for it. Get in there. Okay, this might actually be dry enough to paint on now. Actually, I could start with the top bit, couldn't I? It's a bit far to reach. Let's turn it around this way. Hopefully not knock anything over. There you go. That's good enough. You don't need to really see what I'm doing that much. I'm just painting around this pink bit before I go and paint that pink bit. I should probably put some of this out on a palette. A portrait, yes. It doesn't rain, it pose. Oh, all the puns. Poems. Poems. Puns, puns, puns. We're going to have a Poe pun contest. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Which will be, as always, $30. 30. Oh, now I always say that, and then I forget that I charge in pounds. It's £30. I don't know what that is in dollars. Sorry. Wow, I literally couldn't see that colour in the thing. How weird. What else? Over on Patreon, en ce moment, we are looking at creativity and magic. Specifically, this month we're looking at mundanity and magic. And, you know, working magic and creativity into your everyday life. Because that's always the thing, isn't it? Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I wish I could, but I don't have time. Which roughly translates to, I wish I could, but I just don't want to make it a priority. Police. Is he Polish? No, he's American. Actually, he's Irish. Irish American. His mother was British. Don't get me started on Poe. I know a lot about Poe. Perhaps a bit too much about Poe. Read all the things about Poe. Poe is also the reason I got into true crime, incidentally. Which is something that we will explore in class as part of the audio stuff, because it's really interesting, and I think interesting things to listen to while you create are important. That's kind of part of my Chronicles classes, is that I always do something audio. Like last year I literally did an audio book version of various different poetry and short stories and all sorts of stuff to illustrate the art that we were doing. So like we did goblins, drawing goblins, so I did an audio of the Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti. It's something I really enjoy doing as part of, you know, giving people inspiration. Here's where you can get inspiration. Or just have something nice to listen to while you're working. At any rate, we'll have some poems. We may have a short story. What else? I have absolutely no idea what we're going to do for the Christmas Chronicles this year. I am completely idealess. I have so many ideas for Halloween. I have zero ideas for Christmas. because I think I peaked last year doing the oh baby, hi. She's complaining because she can't sit outside because it's raining. Well, she could sit outside, she just intensely doesn't want to get wet. And in order to go and sit under the shelter, she'd have to walk a whole 3 feet from the back door to the shelter. And because that involves getting slightly wet, she won't go and sit outside. So she just sits inside and complains. Bless her. Okay. Yeah, I definitely like that colour in the background. It's a nice flat colour and it's pushing it all the way back. And also it kind of looks like somebody's painted wall. This reminds me of a colour we had in one of our bedrooms when I was a kid. Not my bedroom, I hasten to add. My bedroom was red and white. And later black and white when I finally persuaded my mum that, look, we could have magnolia walls and just have black curtains. Because she wouldn't let me paint it all black. The Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween 2.0. I've got to be very careful with that though, because Halloween, Nightmare Before Christmas is owned by Disney now. And I'm perfectly fine creating audiobooks with stuff that is technically out of copyright. But I can't do, Nightmare Before Christmas. I can't do the audiobook. I would love to do an audiobook of the Nightmare Before Christmas, but it's owned by Disney. No chance. No chance at all of being able to do anything even remotely. Plus it would kind of, because it's contemporary, it would kind of come under fan art, which is not really my area. Although it would be very fitting because 2020 has basically so far been the Nightmare Before Christmas. Something inspired by it, but not exactly. Yeah. It's still a bit of a tricky area, even then. And it's something I would love to do, absolutely. But, you can't do anything Disney without getting hammered by something. So... maybe we could do, what if we did nightmares before Christmas? And did scary stories. So, like, literally nothing to do with Christmas at all. Could do Poe stories. We could, if you wanted to. There's loads of people who like the stories of Poe and... ooh, now I'm thinking. Maybe we could do the poetry for Halloween and the stories for Christmas. Because, come on, I know I'm not the only person who likes a good creepy thing, right? Yeah, this is much better. See, you can see the green poking through, but it's not mixing, which is good. That's what I want. You're not a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. Well, you don't like anything creepy, Risha. If it's not Japanese and creepy, you're not interested. So... your mum got flowers for Mother's Day and they started to annoy you. The scent gets stronger when they get older. Yeah. Dried flowers smell stronger than... or dried roses smell stronger than fresh ones. Christmas Carol inspired theme with Poe. We actually did Christmas Carol last year, which is why I said I peaked last year with the Christmas Carol, because, well, I didn't say that. I didn't get to the end of my sentence. Somehow I can't finish sentences today. Don't ask me why. Yeah, we did the Nightmare. We did. Oh my God! Brain, engage. Squirrels, be quiet. We did Christmas Chronicle last year, audiobook and everything, which is kind of why I said I peaked last year, because that's my favourite Christmas story. It's a ghost story. Of course, it's my favourite Christmas story. And I did have a look around to see if there were any other Christmas ghost stories. And you know what? There really aren't. You're exploding. Your favourite author, yeah. He's my favourite classic author, I think. Well, I like Dickens as well. I do like Dickens. But yeah, Poe is... Ugh. His macabre little thin messages spoke to my little goth heart. And then they spoke to my true crime heart. And I went, ah! Oh my God! Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for Christmas this year. Hey, Ash. I mean, I'll think of something. Even if it's at the last minute, I'll think of something. I always do. Inspiration will strike. Sometimes it strikes halfway through the Halloween Chronicles, so... I'm not being overly careful with this because I'm just painting over the background, so... You know, none of this is actually fleshed out yet properly, or lined, or... You know, this tree is basically just a blip blip. It's not really much to be careful of. So I'm just throwing it down. Now I've got at least half of a team of squirrels wandering around in the background going, so what are we going to do for Christmas? I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, we want to do something creepy, but we've already done the creepy one. What else are we going to do? Make it stop. Oh, that's much better. And I'll put some leaves in like I've done there. Oh, I should have negative spaced some leaves in, shouldn't I? Because that was the same green. Never mind. We'll paint them over the top. Let's... No, leave those in. Yeah, you can kind of see a bit of the green poking through, but it's not terrible. It'll work. I've got plenty of paint left, so I'll probably do another coat when it dries. Murderous Christmas. I did think about true crime Christmas. A true crime Christmas, because there's so many. You remind me of Nerdy Crafter. English #1. Who's Nerdy Crafter? I'm not familiar with... Oh! No! Nerdy Crafter! Frugal Crafter is the girl who talks like she's been on 2 times speed. She's just over-caffeinated. I can't. I love watching her work. Can't listen to her talk. Because she talks like this! And it's far too over... It's just sensory overload. Nerdy Crafter is the girl with the knit hat, right? When you say Nerdy Crafter, I'm thinking blonde hair, kind of bob-dish, with a knit hat. Is that her? Does that ring a bell, Amber? Krampus. Well, we did Krampus the year before because we did the creepy side of Christmas. We did, well, actually, we did the traditional Christmas. So we did Krampus, we did St. Nicholas, we did the Muppets Christmas Carol, you know, alternative Christmas. Because we've been doing Christmas for years. This is not the first round of the Christmas Chronicles. We've been doing the Christmas Chronicles since 2014. She wears a Pokemon hat. Right, okay, yes. Yes, I know who you mean. She's fun. She does like nerdy type, fan art type stuff sometimes, doesn't she? The original Grimm's fairy tales. Do you know how grim the original Grimm's fairy tales actually are? I would like to do Grimm's fairy tales at some point, like all of them. Wouldn't they be awesome? Cluedo Christmas. Oh, I love Clue. Could do Clue Christmas. That would be fun. Don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for Christmas. Christmas traditions from around the world. Been there, done that. Weird and obscure ones. We especially did the weird and obscure ones. We've done Cartoon Christmas. Done Cats and Dogs Christmas, which was sponsored by a... Well, not sponsored by a charity, but I did a series of cat and dog Christmas cards that were for a charity. So I sponsored a charity, I guess. Someone got murdered at Christmas party, so now you have to figure out where and with what. You know, there's you can get games like that, can't you? Like whodunit type games. Yeah, she does a lot of anime and stuff, doesn't she? Japanese crafts. I think I've seen her do origami and stuff. Oh, it's so difficult. There's so much to choose from, and then there's so little to choose from at the same time. I always feel like the Christmas Chronicles should be Christmas themed. And Grimm's Fairy Tales isn't Christmas themed. Unless... I suppose you could take one of the ones that is based around toys. Oh, the Nutcracker! The Nutcracker! I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down. Where's my Christmas Chronicles list? Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Oh, the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker. And the red shoes. And the Wizard of Oz. Why are you beeping at me? You're an hour late, honey. An hour late. What's going on with you? Hi, Marie. Hi, Sarah. How to host a murder, yeah. It's too much like, I mean, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I absolutely adore role-playing and gaming, but I never, ever, ever had any interest whatsoever in being a GM. None. The Wind in the Willows for Christmas. I think that's more of a spring one. That would be a nice one for spring. I do like doing literature-inspired stuff for the Chronicles, because it just, I don't know, it's just got that air of mystery and magic about it. Letter from Santa Claus by Mark Twain. Well, that's creepy. Babes in Toyland. Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. Oh, that's a Christmas story, isn't it? Yeah. Did you know that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle took his idea for Sherlock and Watson from Edgar Allan Poe? That would fit, actually. If we did one of the short stories as one of the okay. If we did one of the Halloween stories as one of his detective stories, maybe with a bit of a true crime twist, because why not? We could theoretically then lead on to the Blue Carbuncle, because it's Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes was based on Poe's detective, whose name is just gone out of my head. I keep wanting to say Pin, but that's not it. It sounds like that, but Lupin, something like that. Oh, terrible with names. Words, names, they're all so tricky. That's a possibility. And we could tie that in with some true crime, because there's lots of true crimers. I do like the Nutcracker, though. The Nutcracker is just, the music, everything. I love everything about the Nutcracker. It was the Nutcracker and the Red Shoes. My favourite Christmas ballets. I think, are they both Hans Christian Andersen as well? I've got a beautiful book of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales that my sister gave me. Anyway, before we can get to Christmas, we've got to work on Halloween. And that's definitely going to be Poe. But of course, the way I run my classes, I just want to make this clear to anybody who's thinking, oh, but I don't like Edgar Allan Poe, he's boring. Imagine, there's people who think that. Dupin, thank you! Oh, it was right there. Christian Dupin. Christian Dupin. And True Crime Link, because it was based on the murder of Marie Roget. Or it's... The murder of Marie Roget is based on a true crime. Believed to have been the first one to ever have been based on a true crime. And basically the first procedural. He was well ahead of his time, Poe was. Yes, for those who are thinking, oh, I don't like Edgar Allan Poe. Don't really like Nightmare Before Christmas type weird things. Don't really like detective stories. Don't really like true crime. It's not about that, okay? It's about the inspiration you get from them. And you can be inspired by something you don't like as much as you can be inspired by something you do. You think The Raven is too macabre? You don't like the themes because it's macabre and boring and, well, write some new poetry. create an illustration that is the exact opposite. You know, that's inspiration. That's being creative. Find a story that you do like and take the prompts from the class and... Oh, I missed a bit. Look. Take the prompts from the class and work on your own story. The Mouse King is creepy. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. Maddie, you are making snorty pig dog noises again. What are you doing? There's snorty pig dogging all over the place. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, baby. How are you doing? What are you doing there? Do you want to sit by Mummy? There you go. I'll move that. I'll move that and then you can get in there. Good girl. Come here. There. Better? Okay. Okay, that's a lot better. Let's use up this paint somewhere. Where's my sketchbook? There she is. Oh, that'll go with that page. Where did my... That's weird. Where did that go? There, that'll do. It's used up that paint. I'm running out of places to put things to dry. Where did I put my paint? It's there. Let's put that away. Okay. Like you did last year with the Halloween Chronicles, not interested in the creatures we were doing in class, found them in a culture that you do like and you're interested in. Yes, you did Japanese creatures of similar... We did banshees. You went off looking for a similar kind of Japanese myth creature thing. Can I ask about shadow? I'm drawing Monstera cheese plant leaves. I'm having issues with shadow placement. Okay, what are you having issues with? That's a very open question. Usually, not always, but this is another way of looking at it. Usually, issues with shadow placement are not actually issues with shadow placement. They're issues with where the light's coming from. So decide your light source. Literally, draw on your paper where your light source is going to be. So if you've got your plant here, like this, decide on your light source. Where are you going to put shadows? Well, you don't know unless you know where your light source is. So pick a light source. Okay, so that means this bit is facing the light, so this bit isn't. There's shadow. This side of the stem, shadow. This side of the pot, and because it's coming at an angle, probably that bit of the pot as well. Cast shadow that side. See? Once you know where your light is, and then this, if this is coming out forward and this is back, then this is going to cast a shadow there because it's in front of it. Same with this one. If this one is here, that one may have a bit of a shadow here cast from that one. It might also have the stem casting a shadow. So figure out where your light source is, and then you should know where your shadow is. The shadows are always on the opposite side. So if it's top left, it would be bottom right. So the exact opposite of what I just drew. So if your light is coming from on this leaf, okay, your light's coming from there, what's going to be facing the light? That bit. So which is going to be away from the light? This bit. Where is it going to be casting a light? A shadow. Oh, might cast a shadow on that bit there. I did have a question this week that I was interested in answering, and I will try not to get soapboxy. As soon as I tell you what the question was, those of you who are used to me will go, oh, here we go, soapbox rant. It's a row rant. It's not a rant. It's a... Oh, what is that bright yellow doing in there? That should not be in there. Okay. So I want... cool colours. Because everything I've done so far is warm colours. So I want cool colours for that shadow and slightly kind of... Well, we'll deal with him in a minute. Okay, so... Let me read out the question, because I don't think she'll mind. It was a YouTube comment, so I don't think she'll mind at all. It was posted publicly, so... So Cynthia asked, I've been searching and spending hours looking at journals and paper to find what will hold up to watercolour and most pens or markers. You showed your traveller's notebook with watercolour, then your sketchbook and 2 other journals, but you didn't say what they are and what paper you use in your traveller's notebook that will hold up to watercolour. I did a quick search, and you may mention it in other videos, but it's hard to tell from the video titles. It's true, I don't do normal videos because they're always live. I would love if you would share the names here and paper inserts you use for your traveller's notebook. I also think a video review of your journal picks would be very popular. Thank you. I'm still at the beginning of this 3-hour video. Lol. I would also love another video on your favourite pens, gel pens, markers, watercolour and whatever else you use to add colour. I've been watching many of this type, trying to figure out what to buy or try. Thank you again. So this is an awesome question. And even if I do get soapboxy, which I probably will, anybody who's in my class will know that I'm about to soapbox. I can't help it. Cynthia, please don't take any offence. I'm not like having a go at you or anything like that. I don't want to come across like that at all. It's a general beef I have with probably the journaling and planner community at large. However, I am aware that you are obviously a beginner at this kind of thing, because otherwise you'd know what you wanted to use. You're looking around, trying to find some ideas, trying to find what people suggest to get, etc., etc., and the problem being that most of it is either high-level artist grade stuff that you automatically think, oh yeah, but I'm a beginner. I don't want to do that because I don't want to spend that amount of money because I don't know if I'm even going to enjoy it yet. And then also you don't have the experience of what kind of things you like yet. So you can't say, oh, I want to. You mentioned watercolors to add colour. You don't know yet if you like watercolours, so you don't want to spend a lot of money on like Daniel Smith's or something if you then find you don't like watercolours. And I totally get that. So please do not think that I'm in any way trying to make you feel bad about asking a question. I'm absolutely not. I love that you asked the question because it's one of my favourite topics to talk about. There is far too much, in my opinion, bandwagoning in not just our community of journalists and planners, but pretty much everything. There is no what's the best, and that's what everybody tends to gravitate towards. What's the best? I'm talking because I'm waiting for this to dry. Can't use pencils on wet acrylic. There's far too much I must have the latest, greatest, whatever. And that's not what I'm suggesting that Cynthia is trying to do. I'm just saying that for a beginner who's trying to wade through these videos and going, oh, well, what should I get? You get the impression that everybody should get Tomo River paper, everybody should try Astalogy, everybody should work in B6, because that's what the current trend is. That's what everybody's got right now. The issue with just getting what everybody else is doing is that you don't get to try things out for yourself. And the reason that I go against the grain so often is not because, oh, well, everybody else uses Astalogy, I refuse to use Astalogy. Everybody else uses B6, I refuse to use B6. Ugh. It's not like that. It's simply that I already know that I don't like Tomo River paper. Love it for writing on. Absolutely love it for fountain pen work. Wonderful. But that crinkly noise that everybody goes on about it getting when you get it wet and watercolour and, oh, it's all crinkly. And I'm like, get that noise as far away from me as humanly possible. You know? I do have all of my products that I use. You're quite right, Risha. Thank you for the reminder. I do have an Amazon shop link down below where I link all the stuff that I use. Anytime I find something that I'm like, oh, this is really cool, actually. This would be good for. I put it in my Amazon shop and I link it. And I usually put a link. Like for this one, I put this big book. Where did you get this big book? Well, if you go in my Amazon link, you'll find it. You'll find the exact size and you'll find why I've got this book. Because it tells you in the description, this is a good alternative to the big 600-page sketchbook that everybody likes if you're not in America and you can't get one. Or if the 600-page beast is too heavy for you, because some people can't, you know, some people have shoulder injuries and stuff, and like me, having felt the weight of this, actually, there's no way I could use a 600-page book this size. I wouldn't be able to lift it. And every time I put something in, you know, you'll find Moleskine Cahiers in there. Because that's what I use in my traveller's sketchbook. In my traveller's notebook. Moleskine Cahiers. Because, for me, I'm aware that I can use watercolour on that kind of paper and not have an issue with it. Most people will say, don't use moleskins for watercolour. They're terrible. They don't work for watercolour. Almost everybody will tell you that. But I use it quite happily because I know how to use watercolour. I've put in the practice of trying different types of paper. I know what I like. I know what bothers me and what doesn't. I know if I do something where if I do something like this and it starts to do this on the back, this doesn't bother me because at some point I'll do something else on the back and it'll even out. But I have the experience to know that. And you can only get that experience from learning yourself. I cannot say to you, well, actually, if you don't use a lot of water with your watercolours, you can use moleskin quite happily. I mean, I could say that because that's what I do. I don't use a huge amount of water with my watercolours. I use my watercolours like they're watercolour pens. So I don't do big washes of watercolour or anything like that. And I'm quite happy with my moleskins. They're cheap, they're easy to get hold of, they all are the same size. They're a good size for me. They're like B6 width but A5 height, which is perfect for me. That's a good ratio because I like to draw a lot of portraits and animals and they fit onto that. It's the same ratio as this, basically. It's not A4, A5 ratio. It's slightly thinner and slightly taller, which is good. And I could say, well, if you don't use a lot of water with your watercolours, you can use moleskins. Regular moleskin cahier, not even the sketchbook one. It's just regular, normal moleskin cahier. But in reality, you know, how much is a lot of water? You don't know because you're a beginner with watercolours. Do you like bright, vivid colours where you put it down like this, in which case that's not going to be a lot of water? Do you like using washes? Do you like a combination of both? Do you like putting down washes of watercolour and then going in with pencil? Do you like collaging and then adding watercolour or whatever? You have to play with paper and you have to play with stuff in order to figure out what's going to work for you. So my advice to beginners is always it will depend on what you want to use it for. And it will depend where you're going to work. And it will depend how you're going to work. So think about those kind of things first. I'll give you an example. If you don't have a very big desk space, or if you tend to work on a little lap tray, the last thing you want is a set of Gansai Tambi 36 watercolours which take up this amount of space on your desk. Right? You'd be better off with something small and compact like this, or even smaller. Do you do a lot of landscapes but hardly ever any portraits? Well, then you might want to go mostly for blues and greens. So you don't want to just get a set 12 where you've got all the primary colours. You'd be better off getting a set of colours that you can learn to mix your own colours. Here's another example. And this is why I have an issue with people going, oh yeah, get this set. This is the best set ever. Because so often this happens. Like, this is the gouache set that I painted this with. Kindly given to me by Lisa. Okay, this is the gouache set. And you look at this and you go, oh, that's great. That's a really good set of colours. Except I like to paint portraits and there's no flesh tone. Oops. Well, I'm going to have to... It's the automatic reaction, isn't it? Especially for a beginner, I'm going to have to go out and get some flesh tones because there's no flesh tones. Oh, there's no bright colours. There's very few bright colours. Oh, it's all pastels. You know? And then you're like, well, what am I going to do with that? Here's what you're going to do with that. You're going to learn to mix. Where's my sketch? Where did I put my sketchbook? It's down here. Hopefully it's in this one. I did colour swatches for these. And one of my things was, hang on a minute, there's no flesh tones. I don't have any flesh tones. Oh, need to sort some flesh tones out. Oh, it's going to not be in here now, isn't it? It's going to be in another book that I don't know where it is. Ugh. Yeah, it's not in here. Darn it. Where did I put it? Oh, it might be in my traveller's notebook. But it'll be in this one because I've moved the books over. See, all of these in my traveller's notebook, this is a dot Moleskine Cahier. A dot grid for my bullet journal. This is just a plain one. This is a sketchbook one that I cut down to the right size because it works at the same price anyway. Where's the page I did these on? I don't know. I can't find it. Oh, is that it? Nope. Heavens to Murgatroyd, as my grandmother would have said, but in a very strong Irish accent. That's weird. Where's that gone? Anyway, if you take different colours and mix them up, you can get flesh tones. Like, ooh, that's from my bag. Let me grab this and show you what I mean. Oh, see, spookiness. Got to do the spooky. No, step. Okay, sit there. Let me show you what I mean. The first thing you should do with any set of colours that you get, even if it's only 2 colours, is learn to mix them. Because you don't have just what you can see, you've got other colours as well. So, here we go. What do we know about flesh tones? Well, we know... Oops, my brush just fell apart. Okay, let's use another brush. Well, we know they're kind of pinky and pale. So let's start with this one. And add, I don't want to go white because then we'll get like vivid. Let's add a bit of cream to tone it down with. Okay, that's actually quite a nice shadow flesh tone. So maybe we will add a bit of white to it now it's got a bit of cream in it. Oh, there you go, there's a flesh tone, look. Maybe we want it to be a little bit pinker. Let's take a tiny bit of that red. Ah, there we go, there's a nice flesh tone. Nice rosy pink flesh tone. Oh, well, what if we want to do somebody who's got a cooler tone, like an olive skin? We'll add some olive into it then. Which is not ideal because it's drying too fast, but oh, look at that. Now we've got kind of an olive skin tone. Well, what happens if we mix this one with this one? And then we add in a bit of this. Yep, that's definitely green, isn't it? So we need to warm it up a bit. Let's put some yellow in there. Oh, there we go. Now that's more kind of olive skin toned. So let's add some cream into it. That would be a really good colour for an olive skin tone shade. Okay, so what if we want to do a really dark skin tone? Let's add some brown into it. Oh, there we go. That could work for like a Indian Asian skin tone, or even a Mediterranean skin tone, or even a black person's skin tone actually, because a black person's skin tone has a lot of blue in it. So what if we use the opposite of blue? We put some yellow into it on the highlight areas. Tone it down with a bit of cream. Oh look, now we're getting kind of highlight and low light for a black person's skin tone. It's not picking up on camera terribly well, sorry. So there's all these skin tones hidden in here. You just got to mix them up. But you'll only do that by playing. you know, you take blue, not that much blue, you take a bit of blue, and you add a bit of red, and that gives you pink, pinky purple. And then you add a bit of cream, and you get a really good grey tone. For shadow. Then you add a bit of white, and that's a really good skin tone for an older person. That kind of sallowy grey colour. Maybe you want to make it pop a little bit more. Maybe warm it up a little bit with a bit of yellow. But none of these are standard flesh tones. That's the thing. I wish I could find that colour swatch I did, because they came out much better than they did there. It's not in here. Don't know where I put that one. I'll have to put that down there now, so that dries. Got so many books on one side so it dries, don't you? Yeah, so advice for beginners. Advice for beginners. There's two ways you can go. If you know absolutely nothing about anything, but you desperately want to try stuff, but you don't know what to get, and you're just overwhelmed with choice, I suggest trying short-term something like a subscription box. There's Scrawler Box in the UK, there's Art Snacks in the US. They both do a good range of different things. Art Snacks tends to be different things that work together. It's a bit more mixed media, whereas Scrawler Box tend to be themed. But you tend to try different things. Another alternative is to just say, like Cynthia's specifically mentioned watercolours. Okay, so invest in watercolours initially. Get a decent brush. Well, what's a decent brush? Well, you have to work that out for yourself. You need to play with different brushes and find out what you like. I like these gold Taklons. I use these for pretty much everything, the gold and the white ones, because I like synthetic brushes. I do not like those big moppy squirrel hair water brush things that everybody uses that, oh, they're so soft and this, that and the other, because I don't like soft brushes. I don't own a single watercolour brush. I do. I tell a lie. I own one single watercolour brush that's actually a proper watercolour brush. And I don't think I've ever used it for more than just testing it and going, oh no, I don't like this, it's got no resistance. Because there's no resistance to the thing. But you might like that. So, try things that are on the current hate list. Everybody hates pastels. But I just discovered that I really enjoy them. Yes. And I'm one of those people. I hate pastels, but I hate pastels because I don't like the dry texture on the paper. It sets my teeth on edge. I can't handle it. I'm also very picky about my paper. But the other thing is, if you invest in watercolours, like I usually say get 3 colours, red, blue and yellow, plus black and white, and go from there. In anything you want to try. And I always buy my favourite colours, because even if I don't like the art supply, because it's my favourite colour, I will use it up. So I never feel like I've got 3 of these things and I'm never going to use them. I'll find something to use them for. But if you buy a pack of 12 of something, you know, and go, oh yeah, that's got a really good range of colours, what you'll end up with is primary colours that you can't really do anything with unless you know how to mix your colours. So then you'll be like, oh, Well, I should have got the 36 set because it's got more colours in it. So you end up with a 36 set and a 12 set. So you've got duplicate colours of things that you're never going to need because you didn't use them when they were in the 12 set. You know, you're better off going to an art supply store or going online for places that do, what's it called? Off the shelf type stuff. Where it's you can just buy one of something. An awful lot of the stuff I buy I either get on Amazon or eBay. I very rarely go to an art shop because art shops are overpriced. One of the questions that Cynthia asked is, what is your favourite gel pen? I don't like gel pens. My favourite pen, which always surprises people, my favourite pen for both drawing and writing is one of these, a ballpoint. In fact, I love the Bic ballpoints. I've also got Parker Jotter that's nice to hold for long periods of time when I'm writing for a long time. If I had to say specifically a pen that I like to carry about with me, I'd say this one, which is my, again, it's a Bic ballpoint, but it's got black, blue and red, and it's got a pencil, and it's got an eraser, and it's got a big chunky nib, a big chunky barrel that's nice to hold for long periods of time. I can do anything I need to do with just this one pen. So if I'm going out and about, I take this with me. The silver black velvet brushes are nice too. Yeah, they hold a good point. They're beautiful for watercolour. They're lovely brushes. They're also incredibly expensive. And I leave my brushes in water for hours and hours and hours at a time because I'm lazy. So I refuse to spend money on good brushes because they'll just end up trashed. I'd rather buy 60 of these in a pack for the same price as you can buy one black velvet brush and not have to worry about looking after them. You know? You've got to work to what works for you. Hey, John. The black velvet brushes are beautiful. The silver and black velvet brushes are gorgeous. The Princeton brushes are amazing. But they're watercolour brushes and they're too soft for what I do. They're too soft for the way I paint. So I don't actually like them. This is why I don't go through, this is why. If I find something that I absolutely think, I'm sorry about these two flies, they're doing a dance and it's getting on my nerves as well. If I find something that is, I think, good enough to say, hey, guess what? I think if you've been looking for something like this, you should get this. Then I'll do a proper video on it. Like this sketchbook. If you've been trying to get the 600-page sketchbook, but you're not in the US, so you can't get it easily, or the 600-page book is a bit too intimidating, or too many pages, or it's too heavy, this one works perfectly well. The paper's exactly the same. It's the same dimensions, bar ½ an inch here and there. I think it's like ½ an inch taller and ½ an inch wider. No, it's ½ an inch shorter and ½ an inch wider. But that's nothing. But you still get that thing of, I can work really big. And if you can't get these, like a couple of I think Mika wanted one of these, but to get it shipped to Belgium was too expensive. Even from the UK, it was too expensive because we're not in the EU anymore. So she looked at what their stocks are and she found a Cahiers version in A3 that she can cut down to these dimensions. It's only a third of as many pages and it's a soft cover, so it's not going to cost anything to ship it. She can buy quite a few at the same time and she can bind them into a book later if she wants to. That 600-page book is £96 if you buy it from the one person who sells it here. If you get it from Amazon UK, which is Amazon US, which is the cheapest option because they take a deposit on the import fees, including all the import fees and the fact that Royal Mail will send you a postcard saying that you owe import fees and everything else, it costs £125, which is $150 for a sketchbook that costs $30 on Amazon.com. I refuse to pay that kind of money for a sketchbook. It would have to be inlaid with gold on the cover. In fact, even then, I'd be like, nah, can't you do it in white gold? You save all your brushes that come in craft sets. Yeah, I do too. Because those little crappy brushes that come in craft sets, that they're no use for actually painting with. They're great for doing things like throwing, especially if you get a big one. Like, this was one of the ones that came in a cheap craft set. It's absolutely no use for painting whatsoever. It's horrible. But it's great for doing decoupage and collage work because it holds up to the gel medium. For that price, it better come with Bob Ross to paint with you. Yeah. Don't fall in the trap of spending more time on consumerism than actually making art. Yes! Oh my God, that recycled on Wednesdays. I'm going to say that again. Don't fall into the trap of spending more time on consumerism than actually making art. Yes, that is the whole point of my soapboxy rant. We all love to watch the videos of, oh, here's my latest notebook unboxing, and here's my latest this, and here's my latest set of paints. How many people have spent hundreds of pounds on Daniel Smith watercolours and only actually used like 3 colours? I have Daniel Smith colours. I like the Daniel Smith colours that I've got. In actual fact, Amber sent them to me. And she sent them to me because she knew I would like them. Because I don't like granulating watercolour. And I like muted tones and muddy tones. And Daniel Smiths are too bright and vivid for me. And they granulate a lot. Which most people go, ooh, look how pretty. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. Sorry. If you know someone in the USA, ask them to buy the 600 book and send it to you marked as a gift. You'll get no import fees. Actually, you will. Because it's $30. And even if you sign it as a gift, it's still going to cost probably about $50 to ship. And they include the shipping now. So even if it's a gift, if it costs like $25 to ship it, they'll take that into account. So you'll still get charged import fees. I know. How can they do that after all these years? It's arbitrary. You can have one person will let something in without including postage, and you'll have somebody else that will say, well, it's free, it's a gift, but the postage was $50, so I'm going to charge import fees on it. Because there are no rules. And given how much it cost, a friend of mine sent me a box of stuff and it was smaller than that book. And it was way lighter than that book because it was just pens and some, you know, the Traveller's Notebook 013 inserts, the really thin paper, because I couldn't get them here at the time. It had a few of those in it. It had a small printer, like the similar to a sprocket, and a few pens and a few bits of paper. The box was about this big. It cost her $75 to send it to me. And I ended up paying import fees on it. Because even though it was marked as a gift, they charged me VAT on the postage. Which I think is bloody cheeky because it's not their postage. You know? And then Royal Mail charge you an extra £15 for the privilege of sending you a postcard that says, we've decided to charge you import fees on this or VAT on this, and therefore you have to pay. It's perfectly plausible to end up paying like £4 in customs, but have to pay £18 because Royal Mail are charging you $13.98 for a postcard. that tells you you owe them £14. You know? That it's ridiculous. Anyway, yes. And even if it is marked as a gift, there's no guarantee that they're going to let it go as a gift. Because if they open it and they decide it's not a gift... I've had parcels opened before by customs that were wrapped up in birthday paper with a birthday card. And they opened it all and they went through it and then they charged me import fees. Which I fought tooth and nail because it was like, bloody hell, it's even got a birthday card in here which you looked at. I ended up having to send them a copy of my driver's licence to prove that it was my birthday. Just completely ridiculous. Hey, Katie. But that's life. Anyway. You can go two ways. You can get the best you can afford if you know that you like watercolours. Or you can just get something to play with that's cheap. And by cheap, I don't mean cheap and nasty, okay? Not crap. Don't buy like... I mean, you can buy a $4.99 set of kids' watercolours from Asda if you want to. But, like these... I've been playing with these. And I've got to say, I mean, they're not great. Because they're only student grade. But these are 20 quid on Amazon. Which is a third of the price of the Gansai Tambis. And look. They're just like the Gansai Tambi. They've even got all the pigment information on. And it says on there that some of the colours are light fast and light fast and etc. I'd rather have a set of these for 20 quid than the Gansai Tambis. Because the Gansai Tambi box is that big on its own. I don't have space on my desk for that. I only got these to play with, but I actually really like them. Mostly because I like the metallics and the neons. And this set here is like really grungy. These dark colours here are really grungy. But for 20 quid, this is a great little set because all you need is this and a water brush. Now, there you go. A water brush. Oh, but what type of water brush should I get? Well, I use the Arteza red water brush. And guess what? Everybody hates this water brush because it puts out too much water. I like it for that reason. Because when I want to wet my paints, I don't have to carry a separate container of water. I can just go like this. Look. I just drop my water all over my paints. And then I paint with it. I've never had to squeeze this paintbrush, ever. Even though it's a squeezable brush, it's got push written on there. But I've never had to squeeze it because it leaks. I like that. I like that it leaks because I've always got spare water. Look, that's how you make your watercolours wet. Carry an extra spray around with you. Why would I want to do that? But most people hate that they leak. You've got to find what works for you. It's like if you like super bright colours and you want really opaque colours, you might be better off with gouache instead of watercolour, because gouache, you can water it down so that you can make a wash. But watercolour, it's very difficult to make it opaque. People in the USA complaining their $600 planner they bought from Europe had a fee because the shipping company had to hold it and the fee was really small. Yeah, I don't understand spending $600 on a planner. $600 is 450 quid. My car costs that. You can't use the Caran d'Ache water brushes. No, I can't either. They're too soft. I don't like them at all. I like the Kuretake ones, but I only like 2 of the Kuretake ones. The other one's a bit kind of, I don't like this one. I like the angle and the straight one, but I don't like the round one. Anyway, let's do some more on this. It must be dry by now. Yeah. Okay, what am I going to do first? Did I finish my thought on my pen? I can't remember. This is the pen I use for almost everything. Anybody comes to me and says I want to learn to draw, I say great, get a sketchbook, cartridge paper or heavy drawing paper in America, in the Americas. In America, heavy drawing paper, over here, cartridge paper, and a ballpoint pen, and off you go. And no, ballpoint pens and gel pens are not the same thing. Why does this keep doing that? It's getting really annoying. I draw a ballpoint pen a lot. I had to sit and get my car MOT'd yesterday, and I was sat at the Pot Bank Cafe, so I drew a pot bank in ballpoint pen, and I drew that because I was thinking about the class, so I decided to do something that was based on the Raven. Just sat for an hour doing that. But I post this on Instagram, and I'll get at least one person who'll go, oh wow, what pen did you use? That's awesome. Used this one. Didn't even use the pencil for this one. I just drew. It's a very tricky subject because the minute you get into what's the best for, the answer is, well, it depends. And if you don't have that experience, then you have to get the experience for yourself. What's the best pencil sharpener? I've had people say all sorts of pencil sharpeners. I've got two favourites. One of them is a £12 one that I bought off Amazon. It's not even a branded one, so I can't even tell you what it is because it's got no brand on it. It's just a generic pencil sharpener. But it's the best one I've ever used. I get super sharp points on my pencils. Instead of getting little short stubby points, I get points like this. It even sharpens Prismacolors without them breaking. How many times have you heard people say, don't buy Prismacolor pencils because they break when you sharpen them? That is not the pencil. That there's a whole entire YouTube channel called What Pen Do You Use? And they're asking Kim Young-ji and other artists. That sounds awesome. Because a lot of these artists, you'll find they use the same number 2 pencil that they've been using since school. If your pencil sharpener is breaking your leads constantly, guess what? It's not the fault of the pencil sharpener or the pencil. It's you. Problem between keyboard and mouse. Or keyboard and computer. Keyboard and chair. That's the one. Problem between keyboard and chair. Sorry, I used to work in computer tech. It's probably an in-joke. But yeah, it's not the fault of the pencil sharpener. It's not the fault of the pencil. That's not saying that some pencils don't sharpen better than others. Absolutely they do. You can get a much harder, sharper point on a Faber-Castell than you can on a Prismacolor because Prismacolors are very, very soft and Faber-Castell are very, very hard. So of course it's going to be easier to get and keep a really sharp point on this. But I use these for a different thing than I use my Prismacolors for. And yes, there will be some sharpeners that are better than others. A cheap naff sharpener that you picked up in a goodie bag at the pound shop is probably not going to cut much, given that there are other nicer pencil sharpeners that cost very little more. I mean, this Faber-Castell one, I love this Faber-Castell one. It's $3.99. You can pick it up just about anywhere. It's a really useful shape because when you hold something to sharpen, you hold that, right? It's a good shape. That's the shape you want to hold. You can open both sides separately to empty it. And it's got 3 different holes in it, so it's got all 3 sizes of pencil. I can even sharpen my big Koh-i-Noor pencils with this one because they fit in there. I can get a really good sharpening point on this. I can't get this, but I can get a really sharp point on it. So this one is what I use when I'm out and about. But most of the time it's not about what pencil sharpener you use, it's how you sharpen your pencil. The reason this pencil sharpener works for so many people is because of the way you hold it to turn your pencil, right? It encourages you to do that motion, right? So you twist the pencil and the sharpener. You don't just honk away at the pencil. You don't just honk away at the sharpener. You twist them both in unison. The minute you start doing that, you get a much better even tension on your pencil. There is no best. There's only what works for you. It's like, oh, for goodness sake, this is really starting to bug me. Why does it keep doing that? You keep doing that, I'm going to nail you down. It's like asking what's the best watercolours to get, okay? That's such an open-ended question. It's like somebody saying, what's the best planner to get? What's the best way to journal? Whatever works for you is always going to be my answer to that. Whatever works for you. One of the best things to do, and this is hard if you don't have anyone, but there's always groups around. Oh, maybe that's why it keeps coming undone, because these are a bit loose. Let's fix that and see if that helps. Maybe that's what's doing it. Shop somebody else's stash. That's a really good way of learning what works for you and what doesn't. And if you can't, if you don't have any friends who do what you want to do, you'd be surprised, actually, when you ask around your friends how many people there are who do scrapbooking, right? Let's say you're a bullet journaler. You want to do bullet journaling. You want to get some water-based pens, but you don't know what to use and all that. And you ask around and you'll find that one of your friends does scrapbooking and has done for ages, and she bought a whole set of Tombos way back when. And actually, Tombos are really nice and you like them and you're going to go and get some. You know? You might find that you like the alcohol markers that they've got. Go to a group. Go to your Urban Sketchers group and see what kind of watercolours people are using. Ask somebody if you can try their brush. Just a little, you know, just a little swatch in their book to see, oh, I like the look of that paper. I like the colour of that paper. What paper are you using there? Ask questions and find out. Most of the time, not all the time, because some people are a bit precious, but most of the time, if you're in an Urban Sketchers group or something like that, and you say to somebody, I know this is a bit cheeky, but would you mind giving me a bit of paper out of your sketchbook? I really like that. I really like the texture of that paper. I'd like to try it. And they'll rip a page out of the sketchbook and give it to you. So there you go. And you write on the back what it is, what book it is, what texture it is, everything else, who gave it to you, and you try it out. If you go to a proper art shop, I don't know if you can do this in places like Michael's in the US, but if you go to an art shop here, you can get off the rack stuff where you can say, can I have one of each type of paper sample, and they'll charge you like £10 for a paper samples. And each paper will have on the back a sticker that says what it is. And you try the paper. And then if you really love a paper that doesn't come in a sketchbook, you buy sheets of paper and you make your own sketchbook. You make your own insert or whatever. The best one is the one that you like and love using. Yes, You're using my own words there, Risha. The best planner is the one that you use. I've been using all sorts of different planners. I stuck with one, my bullet journal, through July, because it was July. One book July, using this. I got into that mindset. But the minute I got my car back, look what I'm back into. This. Why? Because this is the one I carry around. It's got a zipper compartment I can put cash in. It's got my cards usually in the front. Not at the moment because they're in the back of my phone. Let me take that out of the back of my phone. Oh, I've got cash in there as well that I'd forgotten about that I got out yesterday. And I go like that. And that's it. That's all I need to take with me. I've got my planner. I've got a sketchbook. I've got a collage book to stick things in, which is like a scrapbook junk journal type collagey thing. Got everything I need there. And off I go. This is what I took with me yesterday, plus my big sketchbook, because I knew I wanted to do some stuff in my sketchbook. That's what I took with me. I don't carry a bag. Why do I need a bag? I've got this. This fits in my jacket pocket. The best one is the one that you carry with you. The one that you keep using. The one that you keep going back to. If you buy 2 different sets of watercolours and you always use the same one, then the best thing you can do with the other set is give them away to somebody who will use them. Or sell them on eBay if they're new, nearly new, used a couple of times but don't like them, whatever. Sell them on eBay. Unwanted gift. A couple of colours have been tried. Unwanted gift is the best 2 words on eBay. Ever. Especially in January. The amount of stuff you can pick up cheap in January because somebody was bought something expensive and they didn't want it. He went to a local art shop and started chatting with the proprietor. When he found out I was a beginner, he let me try out a bunch of stuff in the store. Yes, they'll give you free paper samples. They'll give you all sorts. They'll let you try all sorts of things. I've done that before. I've gone in with my journal and said, okay, this is the paper I really like to use. I'm looking for pens that won't bleed through it, waterproof black pens, and they'll bring you all the waterproof black pens they've got and say, here you go. But then you went into another art shop in a different city and they were really rude about you not being a professional artist. Yeah, you can usually tell. You can tell the difference, usually by the price tags. Handmüller started selling a pack of their different watercolour papers. Yes, Strathmore do that as well. So do Stillman and Byrne. Also, you'll find certain online shops like Jackson's Art in the UK. Which, by the way, if you've never shopped with them, there's a 10% discount link down below if you want to try them out. They do packs of different papers as well because they buy packs of papers and then they split up one of the pads. You fell down the rabbit hole of putting aside what works for you because it wasn't popular. Yes. But if it works for you, it works for you. Are Moleskine cahiers popular? No. Do I love them? Yes. I love the size. I use Moleskine sketchbooks most of the time. I do have the big, thick sketchbook, and I have this big one. I have other sizes of sketchbook. Incidentally, Moleskine do a big sketchbook this size, apparently. Which I wasn't... Oh, guess what I found? This is for my bullet journal Moleskinners. Look what I found. If you put in Moleskine, art, bullet, you'll find a specifically bullet journal notebook with art paper in it. So it's like the sketchbooks. It's the large size, so it's the standard 13 by 21 A5 type one. It's not A5, it's A5 slim. Like this. Same paper, this thick cardstock type paper, but it's got an index, a lined index. It's dot grid paper with numbers on the bottom of the pages. And at the back, it's got a little fold-out thing for your key and for extra notes and stuff like that. I wouldn't waste something like that on a key. I'd use it for, like, monthly bills or something. I'd write down all my monthly payments and stuff and tick them all off. But, yeah. The only reason I didn't pick one up was it's £17.50 and I'm only halfway through the one I've already got. But next time I need a Moleskine bullet journal, I might get this one. Because it's got art paper in it, which means you can sketch in it as well. So that might be good as an everyday carry bullet journal for me, because I sketch in my book as well. I'm not getting much of these chameleons done, am I? You got me off topic. Oh, I could do with finding my picture of my chameleons, actually. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Here they are. Okay, so I want to tighten up this area. Get it nice and smooth. Again, this would be a common question. What pencils do you use? Well, this one's an Arteza pencil. Because this colour I don't have in my set of Faber-Castells, so I kept it. Because I like this red. Arteza pencils are quite good, actually, gotta say. Colour pencils, they're very soft, they've got a good pigment on them. The watercolours are alright. They're a bit chalky for my liking. And I've actually given my set away purely because I don't need them. Not because I don't like them, but because I don't need them. I've got more sets of watercolours than I could ever possibly use. But the... is it in here? No, it's in my other book. This is the problem of having more than one sketchbook. I've got so many sketchbooks. But they're all different. They're all different sizes, right? These, look at this. This is a good example. These all look the same, right? This is Arteza, and this is Daniel Smith. To the naked eye, it's very little difference. I can see a difference in that if you rub on these, the chalk pigment comes off, whereas it doesn't happen with this. If this was going to be put on a wall, I can tell you that these are all light fast and these are not. But for sketching in a journal, especially if you're out and about, I do a lot of out and about urban sketching, I'd rather take this set, which costs £20, than this set, which costs £8 a single tube, because I don't want to lose these. These are my good paints. My good paints. I like to keep these and use them at home. If I'm just going to be out and about sketching where I might drop my paints or whatever, or even lose them, I just take cheap art supplies with me. Take a ballpoint pen and these. Don't need anything else. Well, I know a watercolour brush. Arteza has fantastic customer service, yes. Their customer service and their products are excellent. Their paper is awful. Do not buy their paper. Buy paper you like. Buy paper you want to use. Do not buy their paper. Their paper is terrible. And by terrible, I mean it pills up, the colours bleed. I've got a watercolour notebook. It's supposed to be specifically for watercolours. You use watercolours on it and they spread. I talked about this in the last session, but what I've done with my pencils is I've kept the pencils that I use and love all the time. So my Faber-Castells and my Prismacolors, because they're light fast. I'm a professional artist. I do artwork that goes on walls. I have to have light fast stuff. So that's the stuff that I use for artwork. In my journal, I use my Derwent Colour Softs because I don't care if I drop one. I don't care if I break one. I don't care if I lose one down the back of the sofa. And I keep I've got the Arteza ones that I had colours of that I didn't have in my Faber-Castells because I already had them. Why go out and buy Faber-Castells in extra colours when I don't really need them? I just liked the colours of these, so I kept them. They just came out with some good paper called Premium. I've seen people do a lot of videos about their paper and say, oh yeah, the paper's really nice. That Sketchbook, even Mini Small did a thing on how good that Sketchbook is, and I used it and it bled everywhere. I was like, why is anybody saying this is any good? That's not saying that they don't improve over time, but my experience with Arteza has been the paper's not very good. It's always disappointing, and the other stuff that they do, the actual materials they do, are great. The gouache, I would recommend that 60 set of gouache anytime. It's a fantastic set. You don't need any other colours. You just got everything you could possibly need, except a cup of water. Fantastic set of gouache. And I love using them. Okay, I want a darker red because this is going to be casting a shadow on his neck, so I want a darker red in there. And I'm using cool reds to contrast with the his warm colouring because it's a shadow, so shadows are cool. This fades down into an orangey colour. So let's find a cool orange. I love how pencils go over this gouache. This is the Artex Arts? Is it Arts or Artex? The jelly gouache. Also really nice. Not a great range of colours, but I like the fact that it doesn't dry out. And I like how pencils go over the top of it. It's got quite a smooth finish to it. Even where it sounds weird, but even where it's textured, where I've thickened it up, it's still got a very smooth surface. There did seem to be a difference in their current papers. Oh, right, okay. I'll have to watch that video and see what I think. I'm not familiar with Ali Bean, so. But see, again, there's a temptation when people say, here's a product, try it out, do a video on it. There's a temptation to say, oh, this is so good, it's awesome, oh, I love this, yeah. That's not saying that everybody does that, but it tends to be the way it goes. It's one of the reasons I don't do sponsorships, by the way. If I do a paid review of something, it's because it's something I already use and love and would recommend. If people send me stuff to try out, then I am happily going to sit there and go, this paper is crap, which I did in my Arteza review. Gushed about the gouache and went, nope, paper's crap, I'm going to use my own. Okay, let's use a slightly, I want to lighten this up, so I'm going to use a pinky colour here. That's better, I like that. Okay, so that colour is also in here. It's actually really funny. I get a lot of bespoke emails from people saying, oh, we'd like to send you one of these to try it out and do a YouTube video, tell us what you think, give us an honest review. And I nearly always write back and go, okay, but it will be an honest review. If I think it's crap, then I will say so. The amount of people who suddenly, I never hear from them again. Yay! Coffee! There's my coffee for tomorrow. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, we do have Super Chat, by the way. I'm terrible for not remembering to tell you about that. We have Super Chat, guys. And I got to say, the Super Chat, so far, since I've added it, instead of getting one payment every 3-ish months from YouTube, I'm on par for getting another payment next month. Which is the first time I've ever had 2 payments in a row. So, thank you. Thank you to those who are donating. Now that I've got my car back, I'll be able to go and start going out and doing some sketching again, which would be awesome. With the vlogging camera. She's got a vlogging camera. She sucks at vlogging. She forgot to take it with her yesterday. think I want that to be a little lighter. I'm going to use a cool yellow. That's better. Okay, and I'm going to use a blue for the inside of his eye. I did the inside of his eye a little bit strange shape because I just dolloped it in there, as I do. And I want a white pen. Where are all my white pens gone? Oh, there they go. Random drawing moments, yeah. I do like to just jump in the car with the dogs and go and get a coffee and stop somewhere and sketch something. That's not going on thick enough. Where's my Posca? One thing you like about her, she's a lot less buy this awesome new thing and more here's what I like and why it works for me. Yeah, I like that about people. I'll have to check her out. That's how I prefer to do my reviews. It's like, if you like this and this and this, then this will work for you. But if you prefer this, this, this and this is not going to work for you and here's why. I don't understand why that Posca's gone brown. It shouldn't have picked up the gouache because it's got pencil over the gouache. Don't need to sploot it. Maybe I needed to sploot it. Maybe it's got maybe it's got a dirty nib. Oh, it might have had a dirty nib. It's still not white. Weird. Anyway. Ah. I like when people do a side-by-side review, yeah. I'm not in the mood for colouring with pencils. There, I said it. I was fine while I was painting, but then I'm just not in the mood for colouring with pencils. So I'm not going to colour with pencils. I'm going to grab my paints and do some more detailing. Where's my palette? Oh, there it is. Gonna need a smaller brush than that. Gonna need a smaller brush. Let's use this one. It gives me a nice dappled effect. Let's get some texture into this puppy. Okay. I'm going to use mostly those colours, so I might as well move that right in this way. Yeah, this is much easier with a texture brush. I've been here forever doing this with pencil. Flat brush. Wow, that brush has no point. What is that one? Nope, that's not that one either. You have a point. You can tell which are my favourite brushes. Ooh, thank you, Pamela. Another coffee. It's coffee and a sandwich tomorrow. Woo! You can tell which are my favourite brushes because they end up with washi tape stuck around them where they've fallen apart or whether all the paints come off. This is not even a paintbrush. This is a masking fluid brush. Thanks, Katie. I actually did see that one. For anyone who thinks it's weird that Katie's answering for me, Katie is my admin. She is part of the RhomanysRealm. She's also the provider of our lovely music. So do go and check her out. She's got links everywhere. Just look for her name, Katie Shesko. She's basically on every platform. And this album is available to purchase on Apple, iTunes, Google Play. It's fairly fair range of platforms she's got it available on. Or you can just follow her on Twitch and listen to it for free every 3 days. I don't know why I'm having trouble with this straight line here, but it's not even a straight line, it's just a curve, but it doesn't want to, okay? It just doesn't want to. Touch of yellow. Something I love about gouache is that it doesn't take a lot to re-agitate it, by which I mean when you put colour down and you get a damp brush and you just go like that, it should re-wet, and it does, and I love that because it actually means that you can blend on the paper. So I can blend this cool orange in with the cool red literally on the paper, because as soon as I go over this red again, it starts to lift and blend with the orange, and I'm barely even touching the paper, and it will still do that. It will still blend in. It's like having forever open acrylics. See how much that's made his it's made a lot of difference in how his head looks like it's behind the leaf, and the leaf is no longer like this, or the stalk is no longer like this on his face. It's like here. It pushes it back. It's 2020, nothing works anymore. Hang on. Sometimes I really get onto what I'm doing, don't see chat. Yeah, you can tell because I stopped talking. When I stop talking, I'm really into what I'm doing. I also like the fact that this jelly gouache doesn't dry on your brush, which is awesome. Because I do tend to put my brush down and forget about it. That's how I ruin so many brushes. I'm going to take out some of this white by eating into it with the red. But what magic brush is this you're using to do this amazing technique? It's an angle brush that's been left in water for so long it no longer has an angle to it. It's a Pro Art angled shader, and it's so old it's got hairs on it. It's not about what you use, it's about how you use it. For me. And that's how I teach as well. You won't come to my class, any of my classes, and be told, this is a list of things that we're going to use in this class, and here's the piece of artwork that we're going to make, and you know, by the end of the class, you've all got the same piece of artwork in your journals. That's not how I teach at all. It's all about technique and using what you've got. And if you don't want to draw a chameleon, then don't draw a chameleon. Use the same premise to draw something completely different. The tagline of my journal classes is, and always has been, don't journal like me, journal like you. I teach you the techniques, I show you what you can do with different things, why you might want to pick a certain medium over something else, how to see light and dark, how to do perspective, how to do all this kind of... And then, you know, you're like, well, I've just learnt all about perspective, but I've learnt it in terms of how to draw a newt. I don't want to draw a newt. I'm going to draw something else. Okay, go and draw something else then. That's fine. Because it's not about copying me, it's about using the techniques and being creative with what you do. I hope that makes sense. Let's emphasize this muscle going down here in his leg. I do like how open these gouache are. They just don't dry out. Whoops. Now, if they weren't so darn heavy, because trust me, this box is heavy. What I might try doing, actually, I've got another one of these little ones. What I might try doing is spooning out some of it into these little pots and see how that works. See if they dry out or if they stay wet, if they're not in the same container. Because this container isn't airtight or anything. There's nothing special about this container. It's just bright yellow. That's the most special thing about this container. Which, incidentally, the palette is also bright yellow, and that's not a good colour for mixing. See if we can get this white a bit whiter. I'm struggling with getting my whites white today. That's pink. But let's use it to our advantage. I have to use white acrylic because this white is not cutting it. Oh, hang on a minute. That's the mixing white. It's not the titanium white. The titanium white is there. No, I'll use acrylic white for now. But I need to remember that I've not actually opened the titanium white. I'm expecting mixing white to work like titanium white, and obviously it's not going to, is it? Discovered ink drawing in your old 1989 sketchbook. Finish the damn book. You pulled out a sketchbook from 1989 to finish. I love that. I love that. You'll be joining the group. Appreciate Ro, and she answers our questions, and this is my chill time. Yay! Yeah, I do have a Patreon, guys. If anybody wants to come over. You can do exactly the same classes over on my website, so you don't have to sign up through Patreon if you don't want to. And I'm thinking I don't know how it will work, because you can't just have one tier, you have to have several tiers. But I'm considering doing Halloween Chronicles, making it available for members on YouTube. But I'm not sure how it will work, because you have to have different tiers. I might have to just set up. I wonder if I can do 3 tiers. I could just do a basics tier, couldn't I? Which would be basically the same as Patreon. Just an absolute basics. Here's the tarot chat we do every month, and early access to vlogs, which is basically what the $1 patrons is. And then I could do the actual Poe class, the actual Chronicles class. It's only a 1 month class though, that's the thing. I was thinking I could do the Chronicles, but then I only do 4 Chronicles and there's 12 months. I suppose I could split it into £10 a month. Oh, it's so annoying. YouTube is very annoying with how they've set things up. I might just set them up as Patreon tiers, because everything I do goes on YouTube as well. Okay, I need some more of that yellow. I'm liking his texture. It doesn't look like much when you look at this, but then when you compare it to that, you go, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, he's starting to look like he's got a bit of shape. I have to admit, I'm enjoying using this big sketchbook. I didn't think I would, but I did some of my 100 faces in it the other day on Twitch, and that was interesting. But I enjoyed using the big size. Did I not have another orange one? Oh, I used him as an example, didn't I? I used this. I remember. I used this shape. Whoops. I remember. I used this shape, but the other one's colouring. Oops, too much water. Given how much I love painting with gouache, you'd think I would spend more time painting in oils, wouldn't you? Hey, Meg. Okay, he's getting some shape now. Let's give him some more shape up here. Under this leaf. may have zoned out there. Hi, I'm back. That moment when you suddenly realise you're actually still streaming. Okay. More of this light yellow. I think Cody's been struggling with the weather. She's in Florida. It's been very, very hot and humid. And she's like me, she's a temperate climate girl. We don't do well with hot and humid. I'm really enjoying myself. This stream's going to be ridiculously long though if I keep going much longer. Okay, I want to try the white. I want to try the super white rather than the mixing white. For those who were asking how these lids come off, they come off really easily on this one. I've seen a lot of people struggle with lids. I didn't struggle with any of these lids at all. Okay, that's super white. Let's see how the super white does. Oh yeah, seen a difference. Seen a difference. It's actually, in this set, it's actually the same colour. The pigments are the same, but it's just a much thinner version. So one of them is called titanium white and one of them is called titanium zinc white, but they're both TW3. They're just different consistencies. Yeah, I can see straight away this one is so much thicker and more opaque than the other one. Although, remember, I'm putting this on top of acrylic now. So, because I did do acrylic on that one. Very humid in Florida this year. It's humid everywhere this year, isn't it? I've run out of coffee. Somebody go make me a coffee. I'm reasonably happy with how he's turning out at the moment. I need to put a cool shadow. Whoops, way too thick. Maddie! Don't tell me you found zombie bone again. I keep hiding that thing. Where do you keep digging it up from? I even got as far as putting it in the bin at one point. She still found it. Retrieved it. Okay. I like the bluey colour for this leaf. Can you hear it grumbling in the background? I wish these had a better range of colours. I don't love the colours in this set, but I mean they're okay. They're odd. Maddie! For those thinking, huh, this doesn't look like any sketchbook page I've ever done. Thought sketchbooks were supposed to be for sketching. Well, they are. They're also for experimentation. And this is using paper that I've never used before. Paints that I've never used before. Although I have used gouache before, I haven't used these gouache before. So I'm experimenting to see what works. I'm also playing with warm and cool and playing warm and cool off each other. Even in the leaf here, I'm trying to use a cool green and a warm green in order to get more contrast between bright colours, not by using lights and darks, but by using warm and cool. So yes, believe it or not, for me, this is sketchbook playtime. This is just me experimenting. Trying out new paints, trying out a new way of painting, trying out a new technique. And although this will be a finished piece, it's not going to be something that I would then scan and go, oh yeah, I'll do this as a print or something like that. It just, I mean, I might give it to my students as a digital download, my patrons, as a digital download for them to, you know, play with, copy, experiment with, whatever, collage with. Not obviously not this size, it'd be a small one, but it's not meant to be a finished piece. It's not meant to be a finished painting. It's a experiment. I'm spending a lot more time on it than I normally would for an experiment, I must admit, but it's because I'm enjoying the process. Yeah, he's coming along nicely. I like. Zombie bone has returned, yes. And this fly needs to go away. I hate flies. Flies are the bane of my life. I can't really avoid them because it's hot and it's humid and I've got all the windows open. Hi, Bubsy. What are you doing? Hi. Attention for Maddie. Hi, baby. How are you doing? She needs a belly rub. Belly rubs for Maddie. Belly rubs for Maddie. Mika's not here to give you belly rubs. You're going to have belly rubs from Auntie Katie and Auntie Lisa instead. There you go, Bubsy. Hi. You're a good girl. Hello. Do you want to sit with Mummy? Do you want to sit in there with Mum? Hey, are you trying to get in there? Go on then, go sit in there. No, she says. Not really. Ugh, need water. Water, water. Did a baby bat come in? Aww. We have lots of bats around here because of the park. Hi, baby. Come and sit in here with Mommy then. Come on. Well, you're just being a dork now. Come on, you can make it through that hole. You don't want it. You don't want it. She don't want it. She wants a belly rub. There. Good. Good. I know. Hi. Bobsy, what are you crying for? What are you crying for, Bobsa? What's the matter? Do you need attention? Come here then. Come here and get attention. Come on. Come up and get attention. Hello, my darling. Oh, here she is. Here's my Bubsy. Eat your face off. Is that enough attention? Huh? If I eat your face off, will that be enough attention? Will it? How's that? Does that feel good? You got dog hairs all over me now, look. Hi. You're a good girl. I love you. There. Right, sitting here with Mum. He was very cute but very nosy. Very noisy. Now see, I had visions of a bat going around going, "What's this? What's this?" A la Jack Skellington. I'm having fun, can you tell? I like how he's coming out. His head looks a little bit big for his body, but I'm not sure how to fix that because his neck is actually that thin. So let's put some red at the top there. See if that gives the impression of balancing it out a bit. That's better. Expect you to have one of the newts to eat the fly. Hi, Jen. I haven't forgotten about your thing either. I keep remembering things that I need to write down, so. Oh man, I gotta get some new glasses. You've got to sign up for Halloween Chronicles so I can go get some new glasses, guys. I really love gouache as a medium. It's the best of every world. You can make it really thick and opaque, like acrylic. You can also water it down and make it really thin and washy, like watercolour. It dries really fast, like acrylic and watercolour, but you can also reconstitute it and mix it on the paper, just like you can with oils. I like this. That fly needs to do one. Seriously. Might have to get the fly spray out actually, because this is getting ridiculous. Don't like using fly spray, especially with having the animals, the dogs, but sometimes you gotta, because they gotta die. He's cool, I like him. Let's give him a bit more pink on his eye, I think. He's looking very 3D. Yeah, that's the whole point. Especially when you consider he started looking like this. Yeah, he's very 3D now, but he started flat like that. Just flat painting. But I love that you can do all this detailed stuff and then go in with a wash over the top. And as long as you don't agitate the paint, yeah, you don't try and overpaint it. You can just do one layer of wash over the top and ta-da, you've got a shadow. One line of blue and you've got a cool shadow. But then if you decide, oh, this needs blending out a bit, you can go in with just a damp brush, mix the two colours together, look. Ugh. Gouache is fast becoming my favourite medium to work with. I also like the transitions because lights dry darker than you think they will and darks dry lighter than you think they will, and I have a tendency to add too much contrast. I'm one of few painters that I actually am aware of that adds too much contrast. Most people don't add enough. But I habitually work in black and white, so I tend to add too much contrast. But adding too much contrast in gouache, like that dark blue I put in there was way too dark. Now it's drying and it's suddenly it's going in with the rest of it to where it should be. Ugh. I also like the combination of acrylic and gouache, especially with the acrylic background. Like, oh dear, I made a mess. Oh, well, that's okay. Just make it wet, wipe it off. Oh no, I went outside the lines. Yeah, I'll make it wet, wipe it off. Oh, I got a bit of orange down here. Make it wet, wipe it off. Ta-da! It's really cool. I feel like I've made some good progress with this one today. I want to carry on painting. Got stuff I should be doing tonight, but I want to carry on painting. Watching the transition from 2D to 3D is good. Yes, because it's shadows. You need to look at the class where I did shadows, Lisa. If you can't find it, ask Katie. But I've done several classes on the difference between contact shadows, cast shadows, local shadows, all of that kind of stuff. I think that would benefit you greatly to go in and try some of that and see the difference between the different types of shadows. That's better. Okay, let's get some white in there. So his mouth is white along here. I'm using acrylic for this because I don't want it to, if it picks up the colour underneath, then I want to be able to paint over it with some more white. I think that's the problem with the Posca. It was picking up the colour from the gouache underneath. And I may have to refine that a bit by going back in with some more pink and blue, but a bit of dry brush over the top of that. I like him. Yes. Oh, his eye is so bulbous. I love it. I feel like he needs just a little bit darker in there. Maybe add some of this darker pink over that. That's better. And then add some of the darker red to the orange on this side, just to even it out. There's a bit too much kind of, I mean, I know one side's in light, one side's in shadow, so obviously there's going to be disconnect, but I feel like there's a bit too much disconnect. So I'm adding a similar tone, a similar tonal value to both sides. See if I can give it a little bit more connection between the two. That's better. Tone this side down a little bit. That's better. That's better, I like that. It's even. It's more even now. The value is more even. Oh, I'm so happy with him. I haven't finished his leg down here, I mean. Can't reach that bit down there. I have to do that flat on the table, but yeah, this is what he started out as. You can see how his leg goes just completely flat at the bottom. And then we've gradually built him up to be 3D. And not only 3D, but he's in front of this one and he's behind the leaf. He's cool, I love him. My other newt, this is the one we've been doing in class, that's how he's looking now. Might take some gouache to him as well, actually, rather than just colour pencil over the top. This is actually acrylic with colour pencil. But I'm really thinking I might just add a little bit of gouache to him over the top of the acrylic. Gouache is not a stable medium. But if you put it over craft acrylic, not ordinary acrylic, like this, I mean this is craft acrylic, it's matte acrylic, you saw I just wiped it, I got it wet and I wiped it off, right? So it's not a stable surface, but gouache isn't really a stable medium anyway, so in my sketchbook I'm not worried about that. To be honest, I wouldn't be worried about it in on a painting or something like that either, because a painting like this, if this was just a painting, It's on paper. You'd put it under glass. You wouldn't have it somewhere where it would be potentially get wet or anything like that. And even if you did, whether it's just straight onto the paper or whether it's onto the gouache, doesn't really matter. Whether it's straight onto the paper or onto acrylic, doesn't really matter because it's not going to be stable either way. So for me, for mixed media, it doesn't matter that it's not a stable medium. Making a recipe folder from scraps from magazines. Oh, cool. That sounds like a cool idea. Shadow his armpit is spot on. You're a very talented lady. I'm not talented, I'm practiced. It's got nothing to do with talent. I have a bit of an eye for it, and I certainly have more of a natural aptitude for art than I do something like maths, for instance. I don't have any natural aptitude for maths. In fact, I have a very natural aversion to maths. But it's not talent. It's skill. It's a practiced skill. There is absolutely nobody here right now who couldn't do this themselves if they spent as long practicing it as I have. Ask a witchy question. Ask away, Rish. Ask away. I'm getting hungry. I think I'll stop in a bit. What time did we come on? 3? Done 3.5 hours. Holy crap. I'm a very practiced lady. Yes. It is practice. Honestly, it's just I don't like people calling it talent because it's not talent. Everything I've done to learn to do this, I've worked for. My sister came out of the womb being able to do this. That's talent. You know, at 5 years old she could have done this. And because of that, she finds it too easy. It's boring to her. She's not interested. She does something completely different. But for me, I had to learn to do this. I've practiced. And even now, I'm not that good at it. I mean... Hello? What is this? I love this one. He came out so well. I was so happy with him. And then this one was very much my style. This is when I started getting comfortable with what I was doing. This guy, love him. Her, that side of her face isn't bad. Maybe I should just give her a mask. It's not the best one I've ever done. But, it's in my sketchbook. Who cares? I'm hungry. I'm going to stop. Come on, Rish, if you want to ask a question, type faster. I need to eat. I'd love to carry on painting, but I need to eat. Do some more of this one next week, maybe. Oh! Oh, excuse me. I need coffee too. Although 6:30 in the evening is probably not a good time to start drinking coffee. Tools. A pendulum. Hang on. A pendulum comes to mind a lot. Researched a bit. Seems like something you would use and is portable. What do you think? Yeah, if it's calling to you, get it. You knew I was going to say that. You just needed me to say it out loud, didn't you? Because your little Libra self is going, oh yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah. I need Ro to say yes. Or no. I need Ro to push me one way or the other. Just get it. If it's calling to you and it's within your budget, get it. I'll keep that. I won't wash that out yet because it's got the same colours and he's the same colours. So it'll remind me what colours I used, given that this time I couldn't even remember. You're getting lag. Yeah. Oh, I drink coffee all day, but after 6 o'clock, after 6:30, I go to decaf. Because otherwise I'm up all night. I'm already awake till 2 a.m. I don't need any coffee after 6. Great for finding things. Yeah, they are. Asking yes and no type questions. Yes. Yes. I think a pendulum's an awesome idea for you, Rish, because you always manage to narrow things down from however many options there are to 2. And then you don't know. You do know, but you can't decide. So that might help. Swinging it one way or the other. I think you'd do well with a pendulum, to be honest. I think it's a good option for you. I don't do particularly well with pendulums. I do well with dowsing, but not necessarily with just pendulums in the way a lot of people think of pendulums, like yes, no answers and stuff like that. But dowsing with a pendulum, yes. Finding things, searching for things, looking for things. Where there's lots of answers and you want to narrow it down is where I do well, because there is no yes, no. There isn't a yes, no. There is only it depends. It won't give you answers, Risha, but it will help you decide between, you know, like when you, for you, and I don't mean generally for everybody, I know Risha quite well, you have a tendency to get down to 2 final answers and then you don't know which one to go with. It's not choice, it's just you're okay with both of them, but you can't seem to push yourself one way or the other. And I think that's where a pendulum might help you out. As long as you learn to ask the right questions. It's not about getting answers, it's about leaning the right way for you. Tipping the scale. Because you're in 2 minds about everything. You always are. It's just the way you are. You have a dual nature. So a pendulum might help you. But don't forget, you have to trust the pendulum. You have to trust what it tells you. You can't go second guessing it. Yeah, and you do have a tendency to go, okay, toss a coin, pick 1 or 2. Oh, heads, it's 1. Oh, yeah, but I'm not sure. Best of 3. You can't be doing that. You've got to learn to trust it. But the more you make the right decisions using it, and the more you learn to, the more you work it out, that it gives you, the more it helps you with decisions that you then feel comfortable with, the more you're going to trust it. But it's a tool, it's not a crutch. Yeah, for you, yes, it would tip the scale. Because even with a yes-no answer, you still have a 50-50. What you need is like we were talking about, there's always 2 sides to a coin, but there's always the rim around the edge, and it's the rim around the edge that you don't see. Because as far as you're concerned, there's only 2 sides. And I think that pendulum would give you that edge around the outside that would help you tip the scale. If the pendulum says one thing and you're disappointed, you know the answer was the other one. Yeah. That's the other way to look at it. If you don't like the answer you got, then you picked the wrong one. You know the answer should have been the other one. It's an excellent way to look at it. Right. I'm gonna stop there for the day. Thanks for joining me, guys. I've really enjoyed this little session. I'm going to put an updated photo of him on the Instagram. and go get some food because I'm starving. So thanks for joining me. Thank you so much to those who contributed to Super Chat. You'll be paying for my coffees. Lisa and Pam, was it? Yeah, and do keep an eye on the website link, literally there, because the Halloween Chronicles will go up very soon, ready for well, it starts October 1st, which sounds like ages away, but it's only 73 days to Halloween, guys, and half of that is the Halloween Chronicles. Yes, food, coffee, rawr. All right, thanks guys, see you again same time next week. Bye.